Good afternoon, VV Nation. Welcome to Trending Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. All right, I know the market's selling off quite a bit. Hopefully, you've got your bearish positions in today, making a little bit of money. If not, we'll show you how to get defensive. All right, the alert should be hitting in just a moment here. I'll give everyone just a second to make their way into the room. All right, I see the viewership. I see the viewers coming in. All righty here. Let's scroll down. Hey, David, how are we doing? You're the first comment today. You're going to be my number one today, it looks like. David's number one. As well, we got Alfredo. What's up, VV Nation? Dennis says VV Nation. Mark, Brooklyn in the house. Glad to see you, Mark. Kara, Greg, good afternoon, Ryan and VV Nation. Well, it doesn't look very good out there, right? Doesn't look very good out there. If you're wondering, I had a put. I had the 613 put on the Qs. Earlier today, I was looking for a pivot support level around 1030. Didn't last too long, but that's where I cashed out. I think I bought it around like 98 bucks. I only bought one contract. Cashed out at 320. Rockstar says, what's going on? That's crashing. I don't know. A lot's going on. I don't know what's going on per se, but a lot's crashing. That's for sure. Glenn is doing good. Glenn is doing good. For last time I heard or spoke with Glenn and the family, they got a puppy named Maverick. You need a bear behind you, not a bear. Right? We got a bull. I'm trying to salvage the bulls. Actually, this is a background saved from the other days. You can tell the setup. Me and Joey were just playing around with different setups, experimenting with some new things. But yeah, probably should get a bear as well, Joey. Maybe obviously one for bullish days, one for bearish days. But yeah, not a bull. Not a bull today, all right? Not a bull today. All right. Rockstar says Qubits and Rigetti's. I saw Rigetti's as well. I did see an article, and maybe I should have added it today. I just did a couple other little things as far as articles, but something about a Harvard professor or a group of professors in a lab solved the quantum error, some error issue that is putting some pressure on some of these quantum stocks, but also just the general market is as well. But if you've noticed, the pressure is on where the speculation is, right? It's a lot of the AI stocks, especially a lot of the overvalued AI stocks. A lot of the quantums are getting hit, right? So if, again, especially on the more speculative plays, get defensive. Get defensive. Is Glenn coming back soon? Raphael, I do not know when Glenn is coming back. Probably it's more up to his wife, if I had to guess. Probably more up so to his wife. Rockstar says, short ETFs. When the buy-sell ratio goes under 1, you always have to be careful and hedge. I always see this happen over the years. John, that BSR, it's a powerful indicator, especially the MTI as well. All right. Let's just jump into the regular homepage real quick, Joey. Let's take a look at that MTI as it makes its way back down. Right now, we can see, look at that, 0.85. 0.85 on this. I've talked about this since Halloween. It was that week of Halloween about surpassing the new low. But the MTI just trending lower and lower. I'm going to be bearish. I don't think the market's quite, found its bottom. The BSR, the MTI is not telling us so. But again, just be defensive right now, especially as you can see the color guard being neutral at this time. The pressure on the Nasdaq down almost 600 points, 2.5%. Even Micron, look at that, down 230. Oh man, I told her to wait. This is and the reason I'm talking about Micron is I finally told my mom about Micron, but I told her to wait with the market coming back and everything. But her broker already pulled the trigger. I don't know, but I told her they get a better price. But I think she's got in there around 238, if I had to guess. But so she's in Micron. Still a good stock. Still a good stock. Gold mining, bottom fishing. I like gold. Last night was Gold's video. Last night the video was on gold. Gold is phenomenal. That's where I see the momentum right now. When the buy, let's see here. I hope Glenn is doing well and return soon. I do too. I hope he does. I know he's coming to the VectorVest Christmas party, as far as I know. So I'll be excited to see him. And hopefully maybe after the holidays, we'll see how his health and everything goes. But I would love to have him back as well. I would as well. Shopping for a bargain day, right? Yep, I don't blame you shopping for a bargain. A lot of stocks are pulling back right now, even the good ones. The only green here I see is insurance, just pharmaceutical company, Ironwood. This stock right here, look at that, up another 10% today. Someone had talked about this I think it was last week. Are you watching? Whoever gave me this one, this Ironwood. But it was undervalued, and that's kind of why it was on my radar. But you see the momentum still going up. Look at this, retail department stores, 13%. I did a video that like I think it was about a month ago. I said, going into the holidays, wouldn't be surprised if retail stores, I don't really, trade department store stocks by any means. But you look at that momentum up 13%. I might as well just take a look at this real quick. Let's view the industry graph. Look at that big gap up, some follow through, a little bit of a wick there, but still not a value space. And look at the earnings, not there. Let's see what stocks are doing this. View stocks and industry group. No. Oh. So primary wave is green, but confirmed call is red. I don't understand. They're tracking two different things. I wouldn't be surprised that primary wave gets closer to a down situation as well. All right, so looking at this, you see Dillard's up 15%. Look at the rest of them, a little bit of momentum there on some of those other positions. But I can't get behind that forecasted data. Look at this. Fundamentals, no long-term price appreciation. Safety, not much safety there. It's all technicals. If you like momentum and you're more comfortable as a bull, hey, check out the retail space. All right, get out of this one here. And let's just go into a couple stories I had for you. All right. We had earnings, and I will say this about some of the lists that I'm going to show you today. You'll see a common theme. Like I'm saying, a lot of that damage is being done in the more speculative areas of the markets. But here's a stock here, staple name, Disney, falling 8% as media giant post mixed results. Disney beat analyst estimates on earnings, but look at the revenue expectations. Missed on revenue. The company's entertainment unit was buoyed by streaming as linear TV businesses experienced further declines in ad revenue. Ad revenue. That's it right there, right? With certain industries, tariffs, certain, uncertainties, marketing dollars are some of the dollars, some of the first dollars that get taken out, right, of the budget. You can see that affecting Disney. Its flagship streaming service, Disney Plus, added 3.8 million subscribers during the period, bringing its total to $131 million. But it missed on revenue. Look at this. Stock's down 7% right now. Here's another story. Starbucks workers union launches strike in more than 40 cities on chain's key holiday sales day. All right, it's the Red Cup sales event. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. Red Cup sales event. I don't know if you've ever heard of this before, but it's a huge sale. Look at over 1,000 baristas going into the holiday season. 40 cities looking to expand. So that's not good for Starbucks by any means. All right, let's talk about something. So two things have happened recently. The first one that was on my radar was the MTI trending lower and lower, right? And I was noticing just harder and harder to be a bull, especially, for the more, retail heavy stocks, the tech stocks, things of that nature. But in addition to that, look at this. The Big Short's big bet. We all remember Michael Burry. Now, equities have rebounded from tech-related sell-off last week. This was 2 days ago, and then rebound today, right? This article examines Michael Burry's recent bold bets against the market. Obviously, Spain for the 2008. We know about that, right? All right, so the bet was on NVIDIA and Palantir, right? NVIDIA and Palantir, which NVIDIA, that's tough to be bearish on NVIDIA. And I think the bet was like $1 billion. You can look at this. Specifically, the fund had required put options on 1 million shares of NVIDIA and 5 million shares of Palantir. Whew. Palantir I could see, just from a valuation perspective. I know I'm going to, everyone's, but whatever. I mean, it was closer to 200. I think the last time I looked, it was down about, 177? He's in it right now. And it was starting to break that channel. I would treat it more like a trade. Dangerous trade here. Now, NVIDIA, look at this, up over 1,300%. Where was it at here? Okay, so this is it right here. Vendor financing, right? We all know about vendor financing. NVIDIA financing a lot of the projects, right? This is how a company like OpenAI, have you guys seen this chart before? The circle of money. You got the big players here: Microsoft, OpenAI, NVIDIA, AMD, XAI, Oracle, right? Some of the smaller players here: Nibius, CoreWeave, Anysphere. I trust you're getting your much-needed rest. AI has become Ponzi scheme. You got to do your research, right? You got to do your research. But the guy, Michael Burry, it's hard to ignore some of his accounting things. And the other thing he had talked about, we can get all in this stuff, right? You guys can look at this if you want to. But his new thesis now, he believes that hyperscalers such as CoreWeave, Oracle, Meta, as well as others, are not understanding the depreciation of their computer chips, right? Now, Burry projects about, let's see here, from the accounting from 2026 to 2028, just by these certain accounting practices, not writing off as much, of the depreciation and value of some of these chips, saved them on paper about $176 billion. One can say the market will go down and, of course, be right eventually. But in the long run, they're always wrong. Yeah, Bill, I'm not going to say that, it's long. And in NVIDIA, I'm shocked. I'm pretty shocked. I agree. Burry has been. Buffett is a legend. Buffett is definitely a legend. Definitely a legend here. But it's interesting. It's putting some pressure here. You can see the news is coming all over the place here. You can't go anywhere without seeing the news. So again, expanding some of that thesis just from Palantir and NVIDIA to some of the others as well. Now, stocks that I'm going to talk about this evening is going to be Robinhood. That is tonight's 6 p.m. video. And I think it's so creative of them to do this. They partnered with this Go Puff Me app for a cash delivery service. So think about it. The age-old question, how do I cash out of my Bitcoin? Why is it tangible, right? So now Robinhood gives you the ability to cash out of your Bitcoin trade within the app and then get the cash delivered to you. This company here is so forward thinking. It is astonishing. It's quite astonishing. You can cash out and get the cash delivered to you. And some of you might be thinking, oh, that's stupid. No one's going to do that. But look at things like DoorDash. The convenience. Everybody wants things just delivered to you. So it's interesting. Okay, I was going to ask about Hood. Glad we're looking into that later. Yeah, I'm not going to be going into the chart too much on Hood right now. The sell-off, it's pretty steep. There's a couple simple things I'm going to look at in tonight's presentation here. As far as Hood, if you haven't sold it already, there's a little bit of a zone there. You got a little bit of a buffer zone, so I wouldn't jump in and sell it right today. Micron is not doing well today. Yeah, I know, Smack this. I'm so mad that my mom's broker was so lazy to put in an order price. The thing could have fit. I told her 230. At least as far as an entry one, it might go back down a little bit more. Well, it just depends what the market's doing. But in the long run, I told Mom not to worry. I'm still a big believer in Micron. Still a big believer in Micron. Might have to, because and I told her we just did an entry position. We didn't go all in. I didn't have her go all in. From what she wanted to invest, we only put a third. So we filled up a third of the Micron position for her. And obviously, I'm just a day trader, so I played the Qs on some puts today. Made a little money, so that worked out well. But Robinhood, the fact that you can get your money delivered to you, that is a broker to have on your side there. That is awesome. So here's another one here. Open Doors epic comeback, right? We've all been talking about it being an AI pivot. This was a retail stock. It's been all over the place, been a meme stock, things of that nature. Now, if we look here, third quarter revenue fell 33% year over year. Oof. And gross margin shrinking to just 7.2%. That's not much at all. From 11.5%. I don't know if putting the AI name on your stock right now is the call. And we're going to jump into the watch list and see if it was the call. It might help out some innovation later, but I think especially if this, I haven't looked. Well, I have, but I forgot what it was. But if Open Door is way overvalued, and now they want to put the AI name, attach the AI name to them, might not be good for the stock. Just saying, might not be good for the stock. All right, where is? There we go. Let's go to the viewers tab here. All right, let's go to news first. Sterling is down. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. I sold my QQQ put today because Joey wanted to shoot a promo. We did a different kind of shoot today, so we had to get together. I had the 613. I'm just curious where it is at today on the Qs. See, I was looking at the Qs already. 606. Oh my god. I think it started costing me like $96. What? That's close, probably 600. It's probably about with some time value left. Probably between $600 and $700 value. That's 600 or 700% increase. Nice. And I'm experimenting with some moving averages of RT relative timing as well when it comes to this. RT is a powerful indicator. Why not see if we can enhance it a little bit by using some moving averages? And when I come out with some good results, I'll share which numbers at least I seem to work the best. All right. As far as the news here, I put all those little big AI names. We got the AMD, the NVIDIA, the Microsoft, OpenAI. Look at the valuation divided by price, 0.1. We buy at 91 cents. It's trading at 8.78. It's down 6% today. If I had to guess, that damage might just not be over. Meta platforms, let's divide it by this way. The undervalued ones, or close to value, the ones I'd be less concerned about. Meta value, yeah, I see the price on. It's the sell rating is there. But the valuation, it's undervalued, right? It's undervalued. We see NVIDIA undervalued. Yeah, the market's, it's pulling back, right? Probably, if you feel like you missed out on some of these stocks, you might be buying them over, the next little bit, right? Probably not the worst idea. But some of these other stocks here, like the CoreWeave, the Nebius, look how overvalued. I know Palantir's there too. So we're going to take a look at Palantir, down 7% today. It's 171. Clear break of that channel now. I can already tell you it's clear. I don't have to look at the chart. I can already tell you that price. It's clear break of that channel. These numbers are all good, right? They're all good. That's why people like these stocks, right? I mean, you got a negative here and one negative. This one maybe not that good. What's this? Nebius, -8. Intel maybe not the greatest, right? But majority of these other ones really good. But I could see some of these stocks having some valuation concerns. AMD overvalued now, did have some value opportunities there. Let's take a look at these charts. All right, here we got the VectorVest simple graph layout on. You can see I had this key level here. I even talked about this last week. It's 632. It broke it. Came back and retested it. Probably when I would have sold it on that retest up here, especially if you need any follow through to the upside. And that's more if you're a swing trader. The sell recommendation is in place, but look at the valuation also rolling over with price action here. As far as another support level, let's see what's the top of this is. Maybe somewhere in here. And that is going to put us around 583. The primary wave is not being a great measure on a huge down day like this. It is not. So we might have to take a... can't do too much of the color guard on this live stream. Maybe tomorrow on the power hour we can spend some time on that. Yeah, the primary wave had too much of a buffer zone, right? I'm curious. We might just go over to the color guard anyways here in a few and take a look at it. Palantir shorts were only 2.9 million, not 219 million as media mentioned. I say that news on a Moo article. A Moo article. Let's see here. But yeah, as far as this, I'm still gonna be bearish on Meta right now. I don't think the damage is done. RT's not telling me the damage is done. I'm gonna treat this like a little zone here. I got some pivots. Well, we pivoted off of it and we came right back down. So we might break it. If we don't catch soon, we might break it. It looks like we might break it. But right now we're at 583. Overall, the earnings per share is rising. Value is rising. Great stock. Might not be a bad bottom fish, right? If I'm going to buy a dip, it's usually going to be a safer stock. It's going to be an undervalued one for sure. Here's NVIDIA. This was my level I had here. We're entering back into this channel. If we break this 183, we're right at the top of this channel I had here. We went ascending channel and a little bit of a sideways channel here. See if we can find this channel of support. But NVIDIA's got earnings next week. So, you know, we'll see what happens with NVIDIA. I have a feeling this earnings is going to be an important one. There's so much attention. Oh, it's always important with NVIDIA, right? Earnings per share. Hopefully NVIDIA can, bring some confidence back in the markets as well. And look at RT. If RT breaks below 1, just be careful because we might be entering back in this channel. That would what we don't want to happen. I'm actually talking to my shares as if they were people. Meta, what is your problem today? Oracle. Oof. Look at the valuation concern. I mean, because it wasn't just Michael Burry, but there are some other individuals out there that, there were some valuation concerns when it comes to AI or, some tech-related stocks. And I saw it more as a pocket thing. I've talked about that before. There might be pockets of overvaluation, which, but obviously you're kind of seeing that correction right here going on Oracle here. But like NVIDIA, I still don't know what Michael Burry, we'll see. Maybe see something I don't see, but look at this. Coming right back down to my support level here. Now, if I can get value to take up a little bit more. We're only valuing the company 168, but with rising earnings per share, not a bad company, just not the time. A lot of momentum to the downside. And if it breaks this little pivot here, or this little zone, support zone, there's not much support left, and we have a gap to fill here. And that gap to fill is still above our valuation. Here's Microsoft. You can see the valuation concern here, but value is rising. This is what I like to see. With Oracle, value's just been flat. Not even just the last few months, but really look at the last, we got 1 year, 2 months here. Very flat. This is what I love what I had in Microsoft. Like I said, and I'm almost positive, but we talked about this before, a little pro tipperoo. I'm almost positive it was Microsoft. And with this steep sell-off, well, not steep, but with the sell-off occurring today, you never know what's going to happen. Is it the 200? Yeah, the 200 is getting right into this zone here. If we take out this prior swing low, Price action might be tempted to go back down. There's around 467. Again, not saying it's going back down there, but just keep that on your radar. Me personally, put an alert on your brokerage around 470. So if price action does make its way down here, might just be a nice little pivot off that 200 day. Any changes for AMD filling the gap? Let's see here. But yeah, Microsoft's got a big gap too. But this is where I find support right here. You know, if you're looking for the deal on Microsoft from a technical perspective, that would be the pivot I'm looking for, right? Otherwise, if it really starts to sell off and roll over, we got a gap to fill. You can see my clear level support here and valuation going right there. That would, you know, yeah, if tell me if price action just, you know, whooshed way down here, I might have to tell my mom about some Microsoft. But I like Microsoft. My aunt's actually on the board of Microsoft. All right, let's see here. And she's moving to North Carolina. She's moving over to Southport. It's a beautiful little beach town if you've never been to Southport, North Carolina. AMD, a little ascending channel. Looks like my line got a little skewed there somewhere. But either way, ascending channel. You can see it's just trying to find support on that channel. If it breaks this, yeah, I'd be a little bit more bearish in the short term. AMD did have value opportunities, but since the OpenAI deal, you can see price action. Investors just poured in here. So they're paying a premium at it right now, right? So if you see any dips on AMD, I do like AMD on a dip. Overall, look at this earnings per share. Just tuning up. What do you think about Chinese AI companies achieving close enough results with 1/10 CapEx? I think that's always the biggest threat. I think that was my whole point when I did the NVIDIA video last earnings. Do you remember what I talked about? Who remembers what I talked about? What company? SMIC, not SMCI, SMIC. It's China's leading fab. So yeah, that would be I don't know what Michael Burry was looking at, but that would be my biggest concern, right? Because what if they can get close enough to NVIDIA and it be a fraction of the cost, right? That's obviously the biggest concern, at least for me personally. All right, so AMD, it's rocking and rolling here. Like I said, they don't got to beat NVIDIA, but as long as they stay in the race, and they are. What she was talking about, the data center revenue up over 30%. The stock jumped on that. I think that was yesterday. Lisa Su, phenomenal stock here. Intel, I've said it. Intel only goes up because of everything that Intel doesn't do, right? The partnership with the government, partnership with AMD, Intel. Intel made itself in that little circle diagram that I just had on the stream, right? But the stock here just, you see it broke out, a little bit of a wedge here. You see, there we go, a little bit of a wedge, broke out. Our stop price here is around $32. That's when our sell recommendation will come into play. Momentum is in favor of the bulls, but that momentum is greatly weakening. We're closer to 2. Now we just dropped below 1.5. Earnings per share, a little bit of a turnaround story, but the valuation's not there. And it's way overvalued, right? Underestimating Intel is no good. It is American legend. Definitely American legend. I'm not going to say that. I don't know. I just, I wouldn't be surprised, if Intel gets broken up over a little bit. We'll see. But a lot of other companies are trying to save Intel, right? I mean, we've heard the Trump administration, they're putting pressure on AMD and Jensen Huang and TSM, to partner with Intel. So, if Intel, I just want to find I want Intel to give me a reason to be excited for an Intel, not everything else, right? And Intel's not giving me that reason, right? But yeah, so if Intel gets a partnership with with a Micron, or they announce partnership with a ChatGPT, it'll probably rise off of that. But until value really starts going, and then even the forecasted data on the stock is not good, right? And it's like, why would I choose Intel when I've got other phenomenal semiconductor stocks out there, such as an NVIDIA, such as a Micron, right? Here's Hood. So here's Hood. It broke this upward trend line. Tonight's 6 p.m. video is on the stock here. Rising earnings per share, rising value. Still phenomenal stock, just pulling back quite a bit. Here's Nebius. I told you, look out for this line here. Broke the channel. This probably, no, I'm not liking it. The value did tick up again. Let's see where we're valuing it now. We got 1655. Nice. We do have a big gap here. Actually, did we just enter the gap? We might have just entered that gap. Let's go to 6-month chart here. Yep, we just entered the gap. Oh no, right at the gap. Be careful of that one. Overvalued, but again, a lot of these overvalued stocks. Hopefully Santa comes next month and didn't come early. Oh, man. All right. Here is CoreWeave. Look at CoreWeave. Broke this descending channel here. Not what you wanted to see at all. But both of these AI, I see the valuation concerns in the software space. Nibius Group. I see this, right? CoreWeave, look at this valuation. A lot of concern. I see, they got a multi-billion-dollar deal for Microsoft over the next few years. But it looks like that price was already baked in with this big run, right? I need these stocks to all take breathers. Or I need these values to have a little bit more life to them. I'm not seeing this. Palantir, probably one of the most controversial overvalued stocks, right? I don't think I'm wrong in saying that by all means. Probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular, overvalued stock. Well, to many, say that it's overvalued, right? The VectorVest software, we valued at $22.18. Let's just see how much value has risen. Because since Glenn has talked about this stock, that was before here. Because I started talking about this, you see these two little lines here, this little breakout here, was about 28 to 32. But Glenn was starting talking about this, I think around 15 bucks or so, right? What does it close at? 16, let's say 16. The value was $5 then, right? Earnings per share rising. Value now, 22. Fourfold, just over fourfold. So the value is rising, but you could see investors just taking the stock to a whole new level. I've got true value concerns here. You see the ascending channel here. The stock was over 200 bucks. Now it's at 170, down about 15% since its high just a few weeks ago. I've been okay with the valuation with Palantir, right? As long as it was in this ascending channel, right? But as of right now, breaking that ascending channel and RT below 1, I'm in the bucket of protecting profits. And that is a personal choice on however, if you do it or not. That's on you with Palantir. That's all I'm saying about Palantir. But now it's on you. All right. Open. Look at this. Open door. Look at this. Perfect little. It's a retail stock, right? It's traded just like a retail. So I need to stay above this trend line here. So if you're in it, I need to stay above this trend line. Look at the value. One little tick up. According to Michael, Palantir value is only $6. Ology says. Well, I don't know what that NVIDIA is 60. Well, I don't know. I can't speak on how he's valuing it. We only value it at $22 as of right now. Palantir is now lower than it was since April. What? You're talking about RT. Oh, RT. No, RT back in April was much lower. Much lower. I mean, I like the stock. I do. But now that it's broke that ascending channel, you know, if you own it, you got to have that debate yourself. But me personally, at this point, I would, you know, if I don't own it, but if I did, I would at least be protecting some profit somehow, some way, right? All right, because now it becomes a little bit riskier and more speculation. That's no longer just a nice rising ascending channel. So it just depends if you want to, you know, be a part of that. All right, here's Open Door Technology. Like this pivot, like this break. Again, just stay above this ascending channel here. All right. So these are the news stocks, right? All tech related. We got Robinhood here. All down today. All feeling the pressure today, right? All feeling the pressure today. I'm just curious, but if we put these in order, the most undervalued ones, look at this, barely down. And Nvidia down, you know, 4%. The more overvalued ones, down 4%, 5, 8, 7, 8, right? Getting hit a little bit more there. Getting hit a little bit more. All right, let's go to the earnings side. Now, tonight, there's no Mag 7, no big names, but there's a lot of smaller stocks that you guys have talked about in the comment section, stocks that we've talked about here. So, we've got AMAT, Nutex, Arena, Disney. Well, I don't think anyone really mentions Disney. Bitcoin Depot, StubHub, Virgin Galactic, Lee Auto. Why did that kick back? Red Cat. This is the defense drone company. American Resources. Lunar, right? Poet, Qualcomm, or not Qualcomm, Quantum Corp, QMCO here. The Metals Corporation. Look at these stocks. Let's do the same thing here. Let's resort to value divided by price. No Palantir, it's RT now has been this low since April before the bull market began. Ollie G says PE ratio is 400. Yeah, it you know, yeah, you know, other than their technology, trust me, I get the pivotal nature of their technology, but just the valuation, a little steep for me, a little steep. And I'm not an expert in valuation companies. I'm relying on the VectorVest software to do that. It's done a great job so far. All right. So these are the undervalued, most undervalued. We got Bitcoin Depot down 17%. That theory's not holding up. You see Bitcoin here again. It's probably clobbered today. I haven't actually looked at Bitcoin. Arena only down 2% here. Look at that. Just a nice stable, nothing too crazy on this bad day. We got Nutex here down 10%. StubHub 3. Walt Disney, Virgin Galactic is undervalued. What? Look at that one. Applied Material, well, I guess, I mean, it went from like $60 all the way down to $2, right? So I guess, yeah, it was way overvalued. Now it's, I guess, apparently undervalued. Laughing at the Palantir haters with the multi-bagger. Bill, I am not a Palantir hater. I'm not a Palantir hater. And I'm not saying Palantir by all means is going to go to VectorVest valuation. I wouldn't be surprised if Palantir maybe, you know, got down into the low 100s, maybe 120, 130. You know, if it really started to accelerate. But Bill, if it ever went down to 20 or 30 bucks again, I'd buy some. I'd buy some Palantir. No questions asked. No questions asked. But you know, but yeah, as far as Palantir, again, just protects the profit. And if you protect profits, guess what? Doesn't mean you can't buy back in, right? Doesn't mean you can't buy back in. Or use those profits to, you know, try to buy in a lower price, right? So again, I don't think Palantir is far from over. We're gonna be talking about Palantir for a while, right? My quantum emotion is my bread and butter, but lost half my gains, but still up 150%. There you go, Ultra Magnus. Again, you know, Glenn's talked about it, right? You know, once you get into these double, triple, you know, like a Palantir, you know, if you bought it at 20 bucks and went up 200 and you ain't take one dime off the table, I don't know, you got diamond hands. I'm not going to lie. You definitely got some diamond hands. You definitely got some diamond hands. But hey, you know, do what you feel is comfortable, right? We're all different. We're all different. All right. Now, just looking at these, yeah, there's a lot of blood in this water. So let's see if there are some fish to be had. Broke right through my level here. Broke right. This is a little 200 that we added before. I didn't catch it, so this one's dead to me. I was looking at it because it was, Bitcoin undervalued, but look at the value declining. Look at the price declining, not the pivot. We'll take a look at the next pivot. But with this steep of a sell-off, we could maybe accelerate somewhere down to here. And look, there we go. Let's try. Yeah, if it gets below $2, maybe. It'd be a very aggressive bottom fishing move. We'll see. RT's below 1. Here's Arena. Look at this one. Pivot off to 200. Saw that momentum, right? This is usually a pretty good short trade, short-term trade. I look at pivots off 200s, even for intraday. I think that was what I did on a Qs last week, or was it AMD? I think both were actually retracements for moving averages last week. But bearish. But, this would be a bullish pivot here. Now we broke it, and we're actually breaking the prior swing low here, which was the pivot on the 200. With earnings per share, turnaround story, value rising. It's a good stock, but just the momentum is to the downside right now. And as far as we're right there. If it breaks that, it might try to come back down there. What is that, about 293? I'm not saying it might, if you do get a severe drop again, you could get down to about $3. This one's riding right on that 200. One pivot off it, another pivot off it, showing weakness. This could break this time because each time it hits that, it's getting weaker and weaker. I like the valuation play here. From its highs, might not be a bad dip to buy at some point. The RT is favorable right now. See price action above the 200, and RT is in favorable territory. Rising earnings per share. Good stock. Here's StubHub. StubHub done a whole lot of nothing, but look at the value here. Taking off. Now, let's see where the value is. 26.77. RT's a little bit everywhere because you can see the channel here. Clear range-bound motion from about $20 to about $16 here. This might be a good one to buy on a dip. I like that valuation. I like earnings per share moving in positive territory. Very nice. Here's Disney. It broke the 200. The sales, the stop is at 106. So yeah, we can get a sell on here any moment with Disney. Be careful if you're still holding that. Space, Virgin Galactic. Look at that value just dropping, and it's not really rebounding. It's not quite the undervalued stock I trust here. I mean, this stock. There's an aerospace and defense stock, right? Way overvalued. Has came down to $3 to meet value. Sad story for that stock. Here's Applied Materials. We had some value opportunities, slightly overvalued now. Hey, the buy rating is still intact. RT above 1. Earnings per share a little wobbly, but moving in the right direction nonetheless. Lee Auto. I don't like anything about this. I can't get excited about EVs in general, so I don't see this earnings being very good. Here's Bitfarm. See, look at the valuation here. $1.03, and the value is actually on the decline. Look at this. Price was over 7. This is why I don't like. This is why I don't want to see happen. If you get into stock, $1, $2 like this one, jumps up to $6, and you're riding it all the way back down. Don't do that. Stay disciplined. I don't care if you don't put a trailing stop, a moving average, a star search, a something. It is better than a nothing. It's better than a nothing. This is a perfect example because I know a lot of stocks, may not be this extreme, but I know a lot of stocks are showing this characteristic right now, especially, with the market bottom we had from the tariff turmoil, back in April. A lot of these stocks rose, and over the last month or so, we're seeing a lot of them start to roll over, especially the more speculative ones. Here's Poet, right? Nice swing trade. I mean, this stock was up to $9. I did a video on this. I think it was around $6, so it jumped up about 50%. Yeah, because this was the resistance I had. So when it broke back below this resistance around 7, that would have been, the exit, unless you had, some kind of other stop and play. You might have made around $1, but, depending on when you might have gotten it. But now, below the 200, that's one. I'm looking right there about maybe 394. We'll see. But we're trading at session lows right now, so that momentum is not waning. But the valuation, 70 cents. Let the stock come down. Let these come down. Here's Quantum Corp. I mean, look at this position here. It was up over $80 not that long ago. Now it's back down to $6.93. Again, don't put profits over your emotions before your profits. Don't put emotions before your profits. Look at CRML. That one's heading back down from its big move. Trust me, I trade options. You don't think I've hit a home run? But it ain't a home run till you take it home, right? Till you take it home. Here's CRML, critical metals, right? Look, I did a little ascending channel back in the day, apparently. Broke the ascending channel, so you got to stay disciplined. I think I went from about $10 all the way down to, let's use a date line here, to $1 and change, and then you would have became a bag holder for this. Never fun. And then, finally your prayers would have been answered. Your bag would have came back. Back in the channel, this would have been my resistance right here. This probably would have been my resistance. Clearly broke it. This big upper wick, yeah. If you took some profits on that, coming back actually, especially if you held on to this through that entire bag, I don't blame you. If you rode this all the way up, just to ride it back down. If you rode from $1 to $30 and back down, please don't do that. Just please don't. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But before you do, take some off the table and do that with the house money, right? Especially with these more speculative stocks, right? I used to have my broker explain this stuff to me, but he was expensive. Started using VectorVest and portfolio up 28%. I don't know what some brokers are thinking. It's a great comment. And that's where a lot of people have trouble, is with the buy and the selling, right? That's why VectorVest tries to point you in that right direction, right? Even because this stock never got a buy, probably because it's not fundamentally sound, if I had to guess. RT definitely probably qualified. You can see that here, right? So you're not ever going to get a buy here. So even if you got through here and all this, at least you could have gotten a sell, which right when it broke the channel. So that probably would have been appropriate, especially if you're all the way back down here. About $10, not too bad, right? But now it's still going back down. So again, stick to the technicals. You guys hear me say this all the time. If I'm in an overvalued position, if I'm looking at an overvalued stock, I want to see things like value rising. I want to see things like RV above 1. That's a characteristic I've seen in Hood. It's a characteristic I've seen in Palantir before, right? But what I like about Ryan, you can ask stupid questions, he'll still answer. I made money on being bullish Palantir. What we are saying is it was all hype. Now, I'm not going to say it's all hype, but I'm just saying a lot of that technology, a lot of their ambitions have already been baked in, And now we're just seeing if the ambitions are going to come to fruition, right? And sometimes Palantir, and I wouldn't be surprised if Palantir broke 200, but we'll see. That might be down the road. But yeah, cut emotions. That's what it comes down to. Cut emotions, right? And that's what the value's for. All right, sorry going on a tangent of overvalued stocks, but just stay disciplined down here. Because, especially if you're holding on, your key holdings, like your Metas, your Googles, things like that, maybe now your Micron, those aren't the stocks I'm probably too worried about, right? And those are the ones you're probably most likely looking for long term, right? But your short term swing trades, your big berry eyes, your core weaves, your quantums, things with that stuff, stay disciplined, right? Because I don't want you to be back. I don't want to see your portfolio back where it was in April, right? You bought all these stocks, your portfolio is doing good, and then it rolls over, right? I'm not saying the market could rebound tomorrow. We don't know, right? But you gotta live to fight another day. That's the thing. Gotta live to fight another day. We just need that December cut and everything will be okay. We'll see. All right, everybody. Let's see how many likes we got. We got 45 likes. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to hit that like button. And depending on how many likes we got, depends on how many stocks. We're going to go off the age-old Glenism of for every 10 likes, you get one stock pick. For every 10 likes, you get one stock pick. With a confirmed down and a DW down, you have to hedge your stocks and or your whole portfolio. Yes. And as you hit that like button, let me just go over here to graphs. Let me just go to market timing. 3 months. Look at that. We are definitely not getting a DW up signal. But this is what I want to show you here. The MTI giving us weakness as far as October 31st, I was telling you about when it crossed back below 1 and we surpassed these prior swing lows. RT relative timing giving us weakness right as the market was at a high, right? You see the double top there, right as it broke, retested from the bottom end after it broke the ascending channel. So the system, is giving us those warnings. And for those subscribers that are new, the MTI typically doesn't mean it necessarily 100% has to happen, but usually it likes to find a bottom around 0.6. That's what we're all looking for. And if you're a veteran to VectorVest, that's what you're looking forward to. Just like with the BSR, 0.2, right? Once the 0.2 comes in on the BSR, once the 0.6 comes in on the MTI, then I'm looking for the first green lights, the first primary wave to start, bottom fishing, right? And depending how aggressive you are, depends on what type of stocks you might choose. All right. There we go, 67. All right, so we're going to give you 7 stocks. 7 stocks. Go ahead and put them in as of right now. First 7 stocks. Boom. What will happen if China takes TSM? I would be a lot less worried about your stock portfolio if that happens. Let's see here. But yeah, Ology, if that happens, that would not be good. That would not be good. All right, that's 6. So where is the next one? MSTR, COM, CRS. Bill, you got number 7. Look at that. Quick draw on the keyboards. All right, we got 7 here. Look, shorting Ether up 12%. All right, let's go into the graphs here because we all want the technicals. We all want to know where the dips are and all that good stuff. But look at CRS. That's at a high here. But look, it's a steel company too because we all know what's getting mollywhacked today. And that's not the steel. Well, steel is getting whacked. But it's the tech, right? Tech, the market's coming back here. Overvalued, a little overstretched for me right now. RT still favorable. Earnings per share. If you're in it, hey, I'd hold it. If you're not in it, I'm not going to just say jump out and buy it. Just with market conditions right now. But as long as the buy rating's intact, there's not much to worry about with this position. And honestly, I like this little pivot it had here. This prior swing. No. Actually did not. If it does come back, maybe look around 289 might be a good scooping level if we get some bottom fishing opportunities. Western Digital, you see it just overstretched here. Still good with valuation rising. Buy rating still in place. I mean, our stop's all the way down at 129, so we are giving this stock some wiggle room. You see it's had pullbacks before. If it does pull back quite a bit, maybe 137 on this prior swing pivot. This might be a good entry here. TSM, you see it's starting to roll over here. Pressure is on when it comes to TSM as well. RT's above 1. Buy rating still intact. So again, a lot of these bigger companies, not too concerned about them by all means. But yeah, if the market does accelerate to the downside, I'm maybe looking at like 247. If it really starts to heat up. Otherwise, with rising earnings, RT above 1, not too concerned right now. But protect those profits. Our stop right now is 263. So put a horizontal line here. That would be our stop. Which actually a good stop. You asked for consolidation here too. So I might try to pivot right off of that. Here's Ethereum. For Ethereum, I just want to take a look at ETH. So it did break. Yep, it did break this. The 200 is right here. So I see a little bit more room to the downside. If we break this 200, we could potentially go back down to 24. But we're getting close to the 200. So if you are shorting Ethereum, don't be surprised if you get a pivot off those 200. If you want to take some profits or take a little off the 200, hey, can't be mad at it. I went right back in the channel here. That's nice. The value on this stock, $28.25. Currently trading just at 1663, getting a lot of value of this position. Relative timing, though, slipping. You can see 1.07. Be careful, especially if it enters this channel. What I could see, especially since the stock's just had a big run lately, even with the value rising, look at the 200-day climbing up, coming to meet price action. This might just be taking a breather for a little bit, especially with that RT. Here's MicroStrategy. No. Look at the value on MicroStrategy. Holy moly, I haven't looked at MicroStrategy in a little bit. I can't pick on them no more. But look at the Bitcoin. That Bitcoin treasure chest finally paying off. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I really looked at MicroStrategy's value, but that is impressive, and that is something I would note here. I'll be honest, MicroStrategy is a lot more volatile than just Bitcoin. I mean, you can see that here. It's down 50% from its high, more than 50% from its high. Bitcoin is not. This is a very speculative, very aggressive play here. Since you're fielding stupid questions, can we talk about... No, Bill, we're not talking about that. I am running some of my short strategies, so many of them high flyers. This MicroStrategy, look at the earnings per share. I might have to do a video on MicroStrategy. Is it a turnaround stock? Is it something to take note of? Right? I mean, obviously it's all pegged to Bitcoin, so we'll find out. But is this a dip worth buying? I don't know. I mean, the valuation is intriguing, right? The valuation is intriguing. Because I know I did a video on this before, and I valued the stock. Wow, I think when I did the video, like closer to 120, 130, but that's back when Bitcoin was at that price. I'd have to recalculate the math, and how I did my price. And you can see it jumped up quite a bit. But yeah, that valuation's got my interest when it comes to MicroStrategy for sure. But just from a technical perspective here, 180. Let's see here. To about $200. Treating like a zone. We're heading there now. We're at 212. I would buy Bitcoin. I would buy it if Bitcoin turned around. Would you? Because Bitcoin turns around, that's probably going to turn around. All right, Joey, take us on the exit screen. We're going to get out of here. But that's intriguing. That's probably one of the most intriguing things I've seen in the software recently, for the forecasted earnings per share to go -$4 on MicroStrategy to now, where is that? 385? That's an astronomical move. And the valuation, let me just look at this valuation one more time. Sorry, Jay, take the mouse from you. Went from $12 in October, so a year ago, to $212.43. And price action, is $212.38. It is now undervalued. MicroStrategy is. That is crazy because VectorVest, we're pretty stringent there. All right, everybody. On that note, we're going to end it. It's been a wild Thursday. It has been a wild Thursday. Other than MicroStrategy, the biggest thing I can tell you right now is just stay disciplined. Stay disciplined, everybody. All right, tomorrow we got the mobile live stream at noon. That is going to be doing Power Hour. Tonight's video, check it out. It's going to be on Robinhood. Take care, guys. Bye.